On February 28, 2025, just after 9 p.m., a parked box truck near Conantville Road, an overlooked drive in Mansfield, suddenly erupted in flames, triggering a series of explosions. Startled witnesses called emergency services, but by the time firefighters arrived, the truck was already engulfed. Inside, a man and a woman who had been living in the vehicle were trapped as the fire consumed everything around them. Miraculously, they escaped, but both suffered severe injuries. Investigators believe pressurized cylinders inside the vehicle may have triggered the explosions. A few inches, that's all that stood between life and death for Captain Cheyenne Anwar at the base camp of Spantic Mountain in Pakistan's Karakoram Range.
Holy shit! Aye. Oh.
Spantic, a towering 7,000-meter peak, has become a popular destination for climbers over the past 2 decades. With a well-marked ascent and relatively safe conditions, it's a go-to spot for expedition groups, and like many before them, Anwar and his friends set up camp at its base, unaware of the danger lurking above. Then, without warning, disaster struck. A massive, disc-shaped boulder broke free, hurtling through the air like a missile. It slammed into the mountain base, missing a camper by mere inches. Rockfalls like this aren't uncommon. Snowfall and erosion weaken the mountainside, turning solid rock into deadly projectiles. Some are the size of cars, and when they fall, nothing in their path is safe.
Hey! You got saved by this.
What you just witnessed is the terrifying moment a 4-story residential building in Selçuklu, Turkey, collapsed into a pile of rubble. It happened on Friday, January 24th, around 8 p.m., caught on camera by a passerby. The Taşuluk apartment building, home to 7 shops and 14 apartments since 1992, showed its first warning sign when tiles began falling from a ground-floor fish restaurant. Emergency crews rushed to the scene, but by the time they arrived, the building was gone. Of the 79 residents, most escaped thanks to a quick-thinking neighbor. Tragically, a newlywed couple, trapped beneath the wreckage, passed away. Authorities launched an immediate investigation. While findings remain undisclosed, 4 individuals, 2 business owners and 2 property owners, were arrested. This next video, recorded by a dash cam on October 11, 2023, captures one of the most unfortunate accidents ever caught on camera. A driver sat at a red light, obeying the rules like any responsible citizen. But in an instant, his world changed. Out of nowhere, a car barreling at 75 miles per hour slammed into his vehicle. The force was devastating. At first, it seemed like a mechanical failure, maybe faulty brakes. But the car was in perfect condition. The real cause? A teen driver, glued to his phone, never even saw the light turn red. By the time the stopped driver noticed the speeding car, it was too late. The impact left him with severe back injuries and a full shoulder replacement. As for the teen, his condition remains unclear, but the consequences of that split-second distraction were undeniable. Both CCTV footage captures the moment a 7.4 magnitude earthquake struck Port Vila, Vanuatu on December 17, 2024. A car repair shop and a cafe shake violently, with parked vehicles and people bouncing under the force of the quake. The epicenter was just 30 kilometers west of Port Vila, hitting at a depth of 57 kilometers. Destruction spread quickly. Buildings collapsed, power and communication lines failed, and key infrastructure, including reservoirs, embassies, and hospitals, took heavy damage. One longtime resident called it the most intense quake he had ever experienced. Officials later confirmed casualties and injuries, though exact figures remain undisclosed. At least one life was lost. Former boxer Stephen Pierce was in the front garden of his home in Stourbridge, West Midlands, enjoying the day with his two daughters when a terrifying accident happened.
Not past the drain. Okay, not past the drain. Not past the drain.
Just moments before the terrifying incident, 40-year-old Pierce warned his 3-year-old daughter Anastasia, "Don't go past the drain." But like any curious toddler, she didn't listen. As she stepped forward, the thin manhole cover gave way, and in an instant, she plunged into the hole. The 60 by 40 centimeter opening led to a 6-foot drop. Without hesitation, Pierce sprinted to her rescue. Heart racing, hands trembling, he climbed down and pulled her to safety. Miraculously, Anna escaped with only a swollen knee and a bump on her head. But her mother was horrified, later saying it could have broken her daughter's neck. This terrifying incident, captured by CCTV, happened on January 1st, 2017, in Delhi, India. 40-year-old Kanta Anand had just stepped outside when disaster struck. A speeding white SUV came out of nowhere, slamming into her and dragging her over 50 yards before crashing into another vehicle. The impact sent Ms. Anand flying into the car as it flipped onto its side. Bystanders rushed in, lifting the overturned car to free her before getting her to the hospital. Meanwhile, the driver of the SUV tried to escape, reversing in desperation, but an angry crowd blocked his path. At first, it seemed like a mechanical failure, but the truth was worse. The driver was drunk, and despite the destruction, he couldn't be arrested because he was a juvenile. Instead, his father was issued a fine, a punishment that felt insultingly small for the chaos left behind. Miraculously, Ms. Anand survived with only a hip fracture. The driver of the black car also escaped with minor injuries. This next terrifying incident, which occurred on March 2nd, 2025, in New York, left everyone who witnessed it deeply shaken.
Saliendo del humo, el avión explotó una cosa. Saliendo del humo, oh my god, oh shit! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh shit!
At 7:58 a.m., a FedEx Boeing 767-3S2F lifted off from Newark Airport bound for Indianapolis. But just minutes later, disaster struck. A bird slammed into the right engine, igniting a fireball that sent flames shooting into the sky. The pilots acted fast, declaring an emergency and turning back toward Newark. At 8:07 a.m., just 9 minutes after takeoff, the aircraft touched down, still trailing fire. 2 Port Authority fire trucks rushed in, and firefighters battled the blaze, extinguishing it before it could spread. Miraculously, no one was injured.
Kop met die horings kop. Ek het nou opgestaan. Is dit? Ja.
John, moet jy nie na die kar
Ja,
toe bring nie.
Sodat hy as hy vorentoe.
You should never pet a wild animal. It sounds like common sense, until it isn't. The video starts off harmlessly enough. A man calmly offers food to a kudu, trying to keep it at ease. At first, all seems fine, but then the kudu reminds him why it's a wild animal. These large antelopes, native to Africa, are shy but unpredictable. When threatened or provoked, they don't run, they fight. And while the man thought he was feeding a hungry animal, the kudu saw it as a challenge. Without warning, it lunges, its spiraled horns aiming straight for him. The woman filming drops the camera and runs as chaos erupts. Fortunately, he survived, but not unscathed. For our bonus video, we have a clip from one of the most nerve-wracking jobs you could ever imagine. Inside the ophidiarium, a young man carefully slides open a drawer-style enclosure to feed the snakes. The first feeding goes smoothly, but the second and third snakes were very curious. Now, this isn't your typical horror or disaster clip, but let's be honest, it's still terrifying. I'd bet 90% of people wouldn't take this job.